Russell Carroll Hunt was born in West Dalhousie, Nova Scotia, around 1893, a beautiful town surrounded by nature in the Annapolis County. It was 30 kilometers inland from the Bay of Fundy. In 1914, war broke out in Europe and Canada was gearing up forces to send overseas and needed soldiers. Recruitment posters were plastered everywhere, and a year later, on August 27, 1915, at age 21, Russell enrolled in the Canadian Forces. Russell trained at the Halifax Armory and was drafted into the 64th Battalion, likely under Lieutenant Colonel Montgomery Campbell. Quoted in Nova Scotia's part in the Great War, said this battalion was undoubtedly one of the best trained battalions leaving Canada, and its units in France were always pleased to get a detachment of 64th men. But before leaving for England, Russell came down with the measles. On Valentine's Day of 1916, he was admitted into the infectious hospital in Halifax for over 2 weeks, then transferred to a military hospital before recovering. Then on March 31, 1916, he boarded the Adriatic, which embarked on its way to Liverpool, England, carrying troops. The Adriatic was a luxury liner refitted from its Turkish baths and indoor swimming pool to transport troops for the war effort. But it was unlikely Russell and his other battalion utilized those luxuries on their way to the trenches. On April of 1916, the Adriatic arrived in Liverpool. Russell and his battalion soon after disbanded, and Russell was taken on strength or transferred to the 25th Battalion. Of the 260 infantry battalions to serve in World War I, only 53 of these battalions ever reached the front lines, and Russell was to find himself staying overseas for the remainder of the war. During this time, he was deported to Boulogne, France in April of 1917. He suffered several ailments, was treated for impetigo on his legs and an infected hand. In family stories, Russell recalls him and a comrade walking straight through gas trenches for survival in one account. In August of 1917, he was awarded the Good Conduct Badge on his uniform. Although the Great War ended on November 11, 1918, Russell wasn't discharged until January 28th of the following year, at age 25. He was awarded 2 medals, the Great War for Civilization Medal and the King George V British War Medal. He had served his country and survived to tell of it. Others were not so lucky, as Canada's total casualties stood at 67,000 killed and 173,000 wounded, a huge loss of life. Russell had a full life after the Great War until his death in 1978 at 84 years old. In the end, Russell had 6 children, 37 grandchildren, and uncounted great-grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren. To date, his legacy and family history lives on.